Well. I said yesterday to start the show, if I represented Zion Williamson, if I was Zion Williamson, if I was Nike with Zion Williamson, I'd try to broker a trade somewhere or sit the year out. I've seen Zion Williamson in New Orleans. It's called Anthony Davis. In fact, Nike is so upset that he now wants to play for the Pelicans. They've changed their slogan to just don't do it. But here's the reality, is Zion's a good kid. Zion probably doesn't want to make waves. Zion's got the smile, the magnetism. I hope it works out. And his stepfather, Lee Anderson, says they're very excited to be Pelicans. This, by the way, is the predicted result. I said yesterday, and I have a right to do this as a talk show host. This is my opinion. I wouldn't. And I've also said I've seen this before. It's called Anthony Davis. And I think Zion's going to be a great player, but Anthony Davis has averaged 25 and 12 down in New Orleans. I don't think Zion's going to average a ton more than those numbers, although I do think he has more magnetism and more upside than Anthony Davis. And Anthony Davis is very good. But everybody says the big difference this time, though, is it's different. David Griffin. GM. This time, we got a good GM. Well, he is the luckiest GM in the world. He's been in 5 lotteries. He's won 4. So I'll give David Griffin that. He's the world's luckiest general manager. And I do like him, and I do think he's smart. But, folks, Sam Presti's smart. How did that whole Harden, KD, Westbrook thing work? There's realities about Oklahoma City. Masai Ujiri in Toronto is smart. Nobody doubts that. But if they lose to Milwaukee, and I think they will, and if Kawhi leaves, and I think he will, they're rebuilding. There's realities about Canadian NBA teams. We had one briefly, it left. We have the other one, stars leave. There's a reality to college football. Most of your good top 10 programs are now in the South. Why? Because that's where all the players are. It's much harder to accumulate great talent in cold weather cities. That's the reality, regardless of your coach. Okay? You could see at the end, Urban Meyer, his team could not keep up with some of those Southern powers. And he's a great coach. So I do think, since Zion wants to go to the Pelicans, here to me is the best case scenario. And I do think David Griffin's smarter than the average cat. I do. Is that you make a trade with the Knicks. I don't buy the Lakers. And here's why. I think if you have Zion and you make a trade with the Knicks, who want Anthony Davis, and you can get R.J. Barrett at Duke, and all those first-round picks the Knicks have, 4 or 5 really good first-round picks, that at least feels optimistic and hopeful. I get his best friend at Duke. I get a kid that can take a little pressure off him, another great rookie player. Duke is the biggest college basketball brand. It's also kind of Southern. Into the Pelicans, Zion, 2 Dukies, draft picks. That feels big and interesting to me. What doesn't feel fascinating to me is making a deal with the Lakers and getting Kyle Kuzma, who has a fairly low ceiling. We've seen it. Lonzo Ball can't stay healthy, dad issues, and the number 4 pick in the draft, who I asked multiple GMs yesterday or executives in the league, who would be your 4th pick? I got 9 different answers. That's not even a player, it's a silhouette. But if you make a deal with the Knicks and I get Zion and R.J. Barrett, and they're both, by the way, ready to score in the NBA. That can't be disputed. This is a 3-guy draft. After that, there'll be 5 or 6 good players, but nobody knows who they are. It's like Klay Thompson wouldn't have gone 11 if everybody was a genius. That then feels to me like, okay, you have these really good teams in the West. Golden State, old. Houston, really old. You know, Oklahoma City, Westbrook, another surgery. Paul George, a surgery, getting old. And then you got 3 young teams. Denver's good and young. Can't deny that. And New Orleans, oh, that's kind of exciting. New Orleans is young. Dallas Mavericks are young. And then you can become part of 3 really exciting young Western teams. Denver, Dallas, and the Pelicans. That feels like to me, all right, I can buy into that. Picks, another Dookie, but I'll tell you, from a Laker perspective, if I live in New Orleans or I'm an NBA fan, if you think I'm getting jacked up for the number 4 pick in your, what is by any stretch an okay draft, very good for 3 picks and then a crapshoot, Kyle Kuzma and Laker young players that can't stay healthy, that is not good for Zion. It's not good for the NBA. It's not good for the Pelicans. And he's signing one deal. Because remember, he's going to make $9-10 million a year on Nike. He's going to make money in a shoe deal that nobody's ever made. He's going to make a ton. So he doesn't need to sign a second contract in New Orleans. That's why guys generally sign a second contract like Anthony Davis. They want to get their money. But if you're making $10 million plus on a shoe deal with Nike, you don't need to stay for a second contract, like Anthony Davis, who, by the way, a year before his second contract was done, he wants out. Dwight Howard, a year before the second contract's done, he wants out. Shaq wants out. But because this kid's going to make so much money on shoes, he's not going to need to sign a second deal. But you give him a dookie, you give him another star, take a little of the pressure off, bunch of draft picks, that feels big, it feels optimistic. There's a lot of mystery. There's no mystery to Kyle Kuzma. There's no mystery to Lonzo Ball. I mean, I know what they are. Lonzo Ball is inconsistent and can't stay healthy, and Kyle Kuzma is like a 4th starter, on a good team, about the 4th best starter. Then it feels bigger to me. Some of the league getting old, 3 new young teams out west. But you can't tell me David Griffin, he's just really smart. I don't doubt that. So is Sam Presti. So is the guy in Toronto. Yeah, there's a lot of smart football coaches. North. David Shaw, Chris Peterson, North. Yeah, Jim Harbaugh's a real smart guy. Yeah, a lot of guys are good coaches in North, but college football is a reality. There's way more players in Georgia, Florida, Texas, Los Angeles, Mississippi, Louisiana. That's the reality of college football. That's why the Southern teams are better. Sometimes the coaching's bad in the SEC. They've got so many darn NFL bodies. So there is a reality to the Raptors. There's a reality to Memphis. There's a reality to the Pelicans that even a good GM is going to face. To me, a deal with the Knicks, though, does make it feel fun and optimistic and big and 2 dookies and draft picks. That I could buy into. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.